A design flaw of this drive duplicator from Orico resulted in it burning my skin today. See, what happened was I picked up this drive duplicator because I was looking for an NVMe alternative to my StarTech drive cloner. And I've used that thing for years. The reason for this is basically I was looking for something outside of just using like software cloners. The reason I use a hardware cloner is because I don't have to have a computer running while doing the actual drive cloning, which is nice, especially in a small shop. Anyways, when I picked this up, I went ahead and ran my first clone today. So what I did is I basically took a drive, put it in the source slot, put one in the target slot that I wanted the data to go to, plugged it in, and pressed the power button. Once it turns on, you basically press start, and that starts the instance of the clone. You get some little LED indicators to show that everything's working. But the problem was, after letting this run for maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes, it was almost done. I think it was on the flashing the last LED, so it was somewhere between 75 and 100%. I had to move the actual enclosure just a little bit out of the way so I could actually make sure I was getting a good spot for filming something. That was actually what was going on. And I grabbed it kind of just from this top area, right where the label is for the actual logo. And I grabbed it there, pulled it back, and that time of pulling it back, it basically burned my finger. It was so incredibly uncomfortable. And I kind of just jumped. I was like, did that happen? Is that a product that they're selling? Because I like Orico as a brand, but I was kind of, just a little amazed by what was going on. So what I did was I kind of had to do a couple things. So what I did was once I was done with those drive clones, I went ahead and pulled the two drives out, put two of my own, these ones in particular, fired them up, and instantly checked with my FLIR thermal camera. The reason I did this is I can actually check the thermal imaging of the entire device. And after letting it fire up, the instant it started, this area up top, the area where you interact with both the start and the turning on the on-off button was so hot it could burn you. It was over 65 degrees Celsius immediately. And I can't imagine how much hotter it could get if I would actually leave it running. That is incredibly hot, and I think at 60 degrees Celsius, it only takes about 2 or 3 seconds, maybe, to actually burn your finger and get some kind of second degree burn. And I think a third degree burn, I think it would take about 5 seconds at that rate, but that's still not okay for a consumer product to be sold that way. Because even though this is probably more targeted towards repair shops like mine, it's something that anybody can buy on Amazon, and there's absolutely no mention anywhere in the documentation that it runs warm. And that's where I started to get kind of frustrated. See, I would have been okay if they basically would have just had this released and it was just, they told us, okay, don't touch it when it's running or anything like that. I went through all the documentation. There's not a single mention of this device running warm. Doesn't mention anything. It mentions all kinds of other stuff, how it works and everything in the manual. Never talks anything about heat. Well, that's definitely a huge flaw and something that Orico needs to fix. And the entire reason that this is happening has to do with the design of this enclosure. If I pull these two drives out, let's take a closer look. So this drive enclosure, if you look at it, it's incredibly small. It's about the same length of an NVMe drive, so that's 80 millimeters. The problem with that is it's not very big, and you have a lot of heat being generated when you're transferring fast data, especially with NVMe drives. So basically you have all of the electronics portion for the connections and everything in a very small region. It's just this top portion. I don't believe the bottom portion down here is doing anything at all. And so it's just this top piece. And this top piece basically has the input for power, the input for data transfer, as well as the two M.2 connections in any of the wiring internally on the PCB for transferring that data, as well as whatever controller they're using. That causes a lot of heat to be condensed in a single area. And they're trying to basically disperse it by creating this as its own heat sink. And that's what I believe is going on. This is all made out of an aluminum alloy. So it's designed to basically disperse the heat throughout the entire system. But the problem is it's so combined and it's not very big. There's not a lot of places for that heat to actually go. Because they made it so small, probably to cut costs on the aluminum, they basically made a product that's so hot in the place where you actually interface with the device that it's really concerning. So what I would have done to probably fix this, either make it bigger or make sure that the input area isn't where people are going to accidentally touch a super hot area, or possibly include some kind of documentation that says the device is going to run hot. Or one more thing, just enclose the thing like a lot of other products that you even make. So like this enclosure from Orico has a little sliding cover. Cover it. Cover the hottest part of the system so we're not touching it as end consumers. And the thing is, I know Orico can make a good product. This drive sled I've had for years. It's great. It's a 2.5-inch drive sled. Use it all the time for making videos as well as for all kinds of repairs. It's a good product. They are a good company, but the problem is this just kind of made me upset that they just kind of cut down, I believe, in some areas to meet some kind of budget constraint and didn't care about the end consumer. And I'm not the only one that's had this issue. I did a little bit of research when this happened, and I went through some Amazon reviews, and there are other people complaining of the exact same thing, where this thing is running way too hot, way too fast, to the point where other people are getting burned or feel like they're about to be burned if they were to touch it. That's definitely not something that should be sold to any average consumer, and I think either Orico needs to recall this, notify customers, or actually take some action and release a new version and send it to people that bought this old one that's not gonna go ahead and possibly burn somebody if they touch it by accident. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to go ahead and hop on here and let you guys know exactly what was going on and what I experienced with this product, just so you guys don't buy it for yourself, because I highly don't recommend it. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe for more content like this. And if you didn't enjoy this kind of investigative work into this device, check out this video here where we just investigated Ace Magic and some of their malicious practices that they're still following today, even though they got caught over 2 months ago selling systems with malware on them. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.